Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, March 18, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a time for change call tomorrow night, Wednesday, 19th, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. No matter how we slice it, dice it, or view it, we are here in these bodies to master the mind. Now, obviously, the majority of us don't do that. We get to, and of course, you add a bunch of stuff, right? You add the fact that we don't have recall on past lives. We're kind of in an amnesia space, and so we're pretty much, every time we come into a physical body, we're starting, in a way, for the first time, okay? And since we have no anything to source from, we basically go by how we're programmed, and then we follow that path, that course. And we all do that until some of us, along the way, we discover things that make us go, And because of our curiosity, some of us will go into it and dive into it deeper to find out just what the heck is this? And we question facts, and we say, why are we here? Why are we doing this? What's the purpose of this? What is my purpose? What am I here to do? Lots of things go through. And some of them we embrace, and then we go off on our own programming mission. And we start seeking out things, and so we manifest them, and the universe brings them in to help us even more. And then we discover a little bit here, a little bit there, which is motivational for us, so we pursue it even deeper. And then we start to comprehend that we give everything to the universe. We just give it. We let go. And that's probably the biggest challenge for any of us on this planet, being seated in these bodies, is to surrender, just to let things go. No matter what's going on. It's different. You could do it on the surface over and over again. But that's the ego mind control. But when you do it in heart, that's the real deal. And you'll feel it. You'll know it. You won't have any second guessing. You won't have any doubts. You won't have any fears. You'll just know it. You'll feel content. You'll feel the tranquility. You'll feel the bliss. And it's for us to constantly practice this. We do have avenues to reinforce it, such as staying in gratitude, a deep state of gratitude 24/7. This really is powerful because it helps us boost and stay more frequently in the now, in heart-mindedness. And we get to a point where we choose to do this. Each of us, at a certain point, we choose to do it, we commit to it, and we follow through with it. It isn't half-assed. We don't do it a little bit here, a little bit there. We're on it all the time. It's not a fixation. It's not an obsession. It just means that we've committed to identifying who and what we are, to embrace it. Because we're not who we think we are. And there's a lot of people on the planet. Now, more and more have gotten, if I would have asked a group of people, let's say, 40 years ago, and I were to ask them the question, do you know who you are? What do you think would be the response for most? What do you think would be the response? Probably it would be mostly, well, my name is Jim Johnson, or my name is Mary Smith, right? That's, of course, what a stupid question. That's who I am. And then if you pushed it a little bit further and said, no, I'm not talking about your material perspective. I'm talking about your spiritual perspective, who and what you are. Well, much more influence of religion has always played an interruptive role with any of us because it takes us away from our spirituality. And a lot of people don't realize that. It pulls us away from it because it creates things that cause us to look outside of ourselves. See? And when you do that generation after generation after generation, it's like you can look at the planet right now and you can look at different sectors of the planet and you can see the animosities and the disruptiveness between religious beliefs, say, which is, and the only way you could temper it is by saying it is a choice, it is programming. Some of us on the planet believe and embrace whatever the faith is. Some of us have discovered that it is not what we care to embrace. That's it. We care to embrace the God within us, which is literal and not figuratively, and to progress into a much higher spiritual existence. And we become self-aware more and more as we choose to do this. And as we choose to do it, we feel it. It's like you can do things, you don't feel them. You just do them, right? And none of us are exempt from that. We've done that. We do them, and we move on. But I'm talking about you feel everything. You feel it. You feel the embrace of the God that you are within that body at times. You feel, bliss will bubble up. It's a wonderful feeling. It comes out of the center of your chest. It isn't long, so you learn to savor it as much as you can because it's fleeting. It dissipates. But it's almost like a tease for us because we know that is where the bliss is within us. The joy, the happiness, the togetherness, the peace is within us. And sometimes it does bubble up. It does come to the surface with us. It's not like we're calling upon it. It just happens. And that kind of feeling can be sustained all the time once we discover we're the God and once we establish our relationship with the God that we are. It totally shifts everything. And just like in these meditations, you find a place that is comfortable. You make sure you have no outside distractions. You begin to relax into your body. You just lean into your body. You pretty much go limp and completely still. And you focus on your breath rising and falling. And all there is silence. Complete silence. That's where the God is, in the silence. And it is through heart-mind. And we use the heart-mind. Once we get acclimated to being in heart-mind, we use it to master the ego-mind. It's the only way. I've talked to a lot of people that say, well, I've mastered my ego-mind. So I ask them a series of questions. And I find out that they have not mastered their ego minds. And why is that? Why do they make that statement? Because they're ego mind controlled. It's really ironic, say, that one would make the statement that they have mastered their ego mind, and then you ask them a series of questions that actually reveal the fact that they're ego-mind controlled. It's very interesting. It isn't a judgment, it's just a comprehension of just exactly what really is happening, because the ego mind tricks us into believing that we're in heart mind. And you know when you're in heart mind when you have no fear. As long as you carry fear, you're in ego mind. As long as you carry any of those things, you're in ego mind. Not a negative thing. It's an awareness, which is good. Because then you start realizing, you say, wait a minute, I'm still in ego mind. So I'm going to go in meditation, I'm moving myself into heart mind. The now. It's a constant practice of the now. To many it sounds boring, instead of, looking at, let's look at tomorrow. What's going to happen, and how is this going to be, and how is that going to be? See, then we suffer. Then we get irritable. Then we get disappointed. As soon as we do that, we begin to suffer in different ways. As soon as we go into heart-mindedness, the suffering stops. We don't suffer. And I've said this, you would believe that, wow, the motivation there to stay permanently in heart-mindedness it's off the charts. But you got to remember, the majority of us have been so thickly programmed through many, many, many years that it's actually ingrained in us. See? And this is why it becomes such a challenge for some of us to make that turn into heart-mindedness, into peace, into bliss, into deep gratitude, into treating ourselves 24/7 kindly, humbly, generously, all the time. I've heard people just totally tear themselves apart over something that's, to them it's something, but, when you look at something, you're looking at something from your perspective, and they're looking at it from their perspective, and you're going, why are they coming down on themselves so much? It takes a while to recover from that. It really does. And this is why we're gentle, kind, generous, and humble with ourselves at all times. No matter what. It doesn't matter what appears. Whatever appears that's irritating, that is disruptive to you. Might be a small way. It might be a big way. You're in ego mind. That is an absolute awareness that it sends to you, okay, I'm an ego mind. I don't care to be an ego mind. So I'm going to move out of ego mind, and I know how to do that. Now, just picture this. The majority of us on this planet have no way of referencing or knowing how to do that at all. It's like a complete child when it comes to that. That's got to be pretty frustrating, or very frustrating, because they don't know how. They don't know how. And when you know how, and you say, well, maybe I'll share that with them, and they'll pick up on it. And maybe you've done that on a couple occasions, and you've gotten kind of mixed energies and responses, right? So they have to discover for themselves. We feel compelled to kind of interject things respectfully, right? That we believe that, well, maybe that'll help them come out of the fog. It may be just planting the seed is all we need to do. And like every day, people on this planet are becoming aware, or we call it waking up. Right? But it's becoming aware, self-awareness, where they start doing what you did when you woke up. They start looking at things differently, and they start picking up things, and then they're drawn to go to certain sources to get information. To find, that means they're moving out of the veil. That they're becoming self-aware to the point where they're looking at things and kind of unweaving them, so that they are on what mission, or however you want to label it, are they on to discover who and what they are. I can guarantee you that this civilization becomes self-aware and is heart-minded. This will be a God-planet paradise. Absolutely. And you imagine that everyone will have the awareness of who and what they are, that they're gods within the body, they're pure consciousness. And that they can manifest anything they desire, whenever they desire it, whatever it may be. And of course, through heart-mindedness, it isn't about harm, it isn't about greed, it isn't about manipulation, it isn't about dishonesty. It's about love. Deep, eternal love. You imagine the vibrational harmonics of this planet when the population is in deep, eternal love? Holy moly. And then the ego mind would say to you, oh, that's not possible. That won't happen. That's wishful thinking, right? Or the doubt comes in and all that stuff. When you get an uneasy feeling, okay, here's the good part. When you get an uneasy feeling about something, it's good. The reason you have the uneasy feeling is because it's outside of your zone, your comfort. It's outside of it. And when it goes outside of it, it's very uncomfortable. This is what stops us from doing certain things. You know, you start off, you got the spring going, and your step, and then all of a sudden you get this feeling in the pit of your stomach, whatever, and you go, no, and so you're pulled back. Works, doesn't it? Yeah. Some of us, however, become more adventurous and say, why not? What the heck? And then we move in outside of our comfort zone. At first, it's very uncomfortable. Then you say, this is great. I'm glad I did it. And since we're always learning, we always will too. We'll always experience and we'll always learn. That's phenomenal. Magna glorious. Stupendous. That we have that. That, you know, we enter bodies and we experience these lives, which are absolutely fantastic. They're just immeasurable. And we're in these bodies and we can do a lot of things. But we aren't aware of how powerful we very much truly are. Why is that? Why the question is brought up? Well, how come that is? Why don't we know? Without a shadow of a doubt about how powerful we are. Again, it goes back to what we've been taught. See? Now, we know that everyone else, just about, they've been taught similar things. So things are just kind of being passed around generation after generation. Okay? Now, as you'll know this, as information is passed on, let's just say to the next group of people, what happens with that? It kind of loses some of its content, right? It kind of waters down or gets overexpanded, and that's what's happened. So because you'll look at the generations, and you'll see the differences, and you'll see the perspectives, and you'll see all of the little elements, respectfulness and love and nurturing and caring. You'll see those they're different with each generation. And it's because the stories, which is the information that is passed down, changes a little bit. It's not the same. It doesn't have the same weight to it. It kind of gets watered down. And we're on a hamster wheel. And what does that mean? It means that we believe we're moving somewhere and we're actually standing still. But the hamster wheel gives us the impression that we're moving. We're going somewhere. And we have no way of knowing if that's the case. So we just say, we are moving somewhere, or going somewhere. You've heard me talk about the fact that you could walk right into the rat race. Let's say you're coming off of a side street, so to speak, right? And you're looking down this alleyway, and then you see an opening, and you see all these people, I mean endlessly, shuffling and rushing in one direction. And you go, what's going on there? So you kind of get seduced. And you get closer, because you're curious, right? And you say, what are they doing? And so you get up there, and you're right outside of the procession, so to speak, of everyone, and just constantly shuffling and moving in one direction, like a pack of rats. And then you say, well, maybe I'll get one of the attention. Hey, what are you guys doing? No answer. Not even looking over to you. Just straight ahead. Straight ahead. And you kind of visualize this. And you might walk up and you might grab one's arm and say, hey, can you hear me? And they just pull their arm away and they keep going forward. There's no acknowledgement of you at all. At all. Okay. And you feel how powerful it is because it's so many. And you say, hey, where are you going? No answer. No answer at all. But you see, as far as you can see on the horizon, all it is an ocean of people shuffling in one direction. And it seems like there's where are they going? It just seems like all they're doing is shuffling along, and they don't seem to know where their destination is. Right? And then once then you'll say to yourself, I'm not going in there. I'm going to go over here. This is nuts. This is crazy. Now others will get sucked in, and we're shuffling right along. No. We aren't looking left. We aren't looking right. We're just looking straight ahead. We got those horse blinders front and center, just big horse blinders on, if you would picture that, and we're just going forward in this life. Right? It's the programming that has been deep-seated in this civilization. And the programming dictates to us throughout these lives, not just this one, but all the lifetimes we've had, all the lifetimes we will have. I mean, look at it this way. You're looking at, ahead of you, maybe 1 billion more lifetimes or more. Isn't that crazy? Now, some of us will get to the point where we will say, I'm not going to do this. I know that I am not this, and this. I know that I am something else. And then when you discover that everything is temporary and that everything around you that you look at is an illusion, and you discover that the only thing that is real is the God that you are within that body, because it's the only thing that doesn't change. Anything that changes is an illusion. Now, some people have to scratch their noggin and go, wow, what? You mean to tell me that all of this is an illusion? Yeah. And that we collectively create it to entertain ourselves? Yep. And along the way we learn and experience? Yep. If you don't know, if you're not sure and you're not aware of the fact of who and what you are, that you're manifesting everything 24/7. It's what we do. We create. We manifest all the time. Now, but when you're unaware of that, it can become pretty hairy. You know what I mean? pretty hairy because you don't know that you're doing it. You'll swear up and down and say, I'm not doing this. No way. No, you really believe that I would do something like this, that I would manifest something like this? But we are. We create our own path, our own destiny. We create our own futures. And it's like, but we don't know it. Because we think it's in the hands of something else. It really isn't. The hands of this is in the hands of the God. You are the God. You always have been, you always will be. Forever, beyond, and forever. And once you embrace this, and you know it through heart-mindedness, and I always emphasize that, not through ego mind, because an ego mind is a whole different can of worms. But when we do it through heart-mindedness, then we begin to embrace, and we begin to comprehend and say, oh, this is great. This feels natural for me. This feels organic, my natural state of being. And you know it. See, there's certain points in your life where you will know, you'll feel it. This is right. This is a natural state. This is something that what I'm embracing is a natural state. It is a natural state of my being. That's why it feels so good. Okay? Other times it's kind of iffy, intermittent. And you know that isn't your natural state of being. If you're doing something that you have to force yourself to do, you will immediately know that is not your natural state of being. And it is disruptive, and it can build up caustic responses within you. So you start, all these things become much clearer as we go deeper within ourselves. And then we don't become frustrated or irritated or hurried or rushed, any of that stuff. We're just floating along. It's like you have a being that someone says, what are you going to do? What are your plans for the weekend? Or what are your plans for this month or whatever? And your response is, very genuinely, I don't make plans. I go with the universe. And then they look at you like, well, you're from another planet, and say, well, what? You've got to plan things. Well, the way we've been trained, yes. That's what you do. You plan things. You got this and this and this and this. Nothing wrong with it. But then you realize is that when you plan, you end up having situations that cause you to suffer, inevitably. Is it your natural state of being? No, because you do not trust you and this universe. That's the only reason. So you have to have something that pins things down, guarantees here and there. Because if you don't have them, then you feel like you're not in control. And this is when we let go of control and embrace the God within. It's like, say, you're going to go somewhere. Then you go. Because, see, when you get tied up in ego mind, you manifest things that come in and cause disruptions. Could be very subtle, not big at all. It could be very big. But you see what happens when we go into ego mind, which is doubt and fear, then things take place. Oh, darn, I was planning this and this happened. You ever had that occur? Oh, I spent all this time on laying out this vacation and this happens. Okay? Or the room wasn't what they said it was going to be, or or someone took my room, or the resort in the pictures look great, but when I get here it's horrible. It's run down. Stuff like that. And then whenever anything it comes in, right, and you go, oh, jeez. Instead of that, you just say, I'm grateful it came in. It's another experience for me. That's what this life's about. And I really believe that none of us want to be slugs in warm mud. We just don't care to be nice at first, like most things. But then after a while, we go, let's get out of here. So we're on this extremely powerful evolution of massive spiritual shift on planet Earth. Not the others, not the material physical stuff, but the discovery that you're a God, that you choose to go to heart-mindedness, that you practice a deep gratitude all the time, no matter what's going on, and that you love yourself deeply and eternally. How many of us do you believe really, truly, deeply and eternally love ourselves? It would be interesting to see, for giggles, just how many do. Because that gives you a clear comprehension of where the majority of the population is at on its evolution into spirituality, which means that one might say, well, does that mean you're out of the body, right? You don't need to be in the body. No, you are spiritually aware that you're a God, pure consciousness in the body, that you know that you're omnipotently powerful, that your pain and suffering and everything was through ego-mindedness, and you have mastered it, and it's no more. And you know your thoughts. And what happens is that you have no frustration, you have no fear, there's no anxiety, none of that stuff's there anymore. And then one might say, well, wouldn't that get boring? No, because then we're off on a whole different adventure of learning and experiencing. Can you honestly say to yourself that you have been existed in a God planet paradise for 20, 30, 40,000 years? No, I don't believe so. And so this is new for us, all of us. This is an expansion of our awareness and God development. And the God development is basically you eventually come to full circle and you know that I am the God within this body. I am the kingdom of God. I am the heaven. I am the creator. And yet that's all absolutely fact. And every one of us will eventually discover that. And the interesting thing, it will be through heart-mindedness because we will have mastered the ego mind. And one of the most wonderful things is that we are revealing that at a much higher velocity than ever before. It isn't about, oh, they got there before I did. I got to hurry. I don't care to be last or beaten. That's all ego mind. Right? That's why you hear me say so often, it's all about you. It really is. Because once you have your house in order, so to speak, you have forgiven yourself, you embrace yourself, you have deep eternal love for yourself, you are moving more and more into an intimate relationship with the God that you are within, and you have forgiven yourself for whatever it is you've been carrying with you all this time. It could be through lifetimes. You let it go. You once and for all, it's gone. That's why we say through some exercises in these meditations that you write stuff down, okay, and you don't read it. You write the things down that bother you the most, that are emotional. It could be anything that you've experienced in this life, but you hold them to you. You carry them. And you write all this down. You don't look. You just write it down, fold it up, put it in a drawer, and then you wait a week or two, and then you take it and you burn it. That's it. I've done that several times. You burn it, and it disintegrates. It's gone, and you feel a release. a lot of us are visual, some of it, tactile, visual, auditory. It just depends. Some of us gravitate towards more visual, okay? Others scent, others touch. It just depends. And so this appeals to all avenues of it. And we visualize the fact that, hey, okay, I have surrendered this. I no longer carry it with me. I let go with love and deep appreciation and comprehension. Boom, gone. And we practice this all the time. And we eventually clear out everything. Because then we find out we never needed it. But what the heck was I carrying that all this time for? And then we breathe free. And then we start discovering the fact that we can, there's nothing we cannot do. We have no limitations. Anything is possible. And we're wildly free. Then you're going to finally realize that you are the God in the body. Join you in meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into the body. Focus on your breath rising and falling. The experience of bliss is happening to someone, somewhere, right in this very now, this very moment on this planet. Meditate, focus, tune into those beings who are already there. Imagine what they are doing, how they are being in the world today. Let their experiences of bliss seep into your mind and your life. Write in your manifesting journal descriptive sensations and experiences. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, the following morning. We will return here Wednesday, March 19, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call, and after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our time for change call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all time. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening out there or inside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.